Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Kitchen Table Wargaming Battle Report. Today is going to be my Grey Knights. They've been sitting on a shelf for a while. I got kind of intrigued and in love with my Drukhari for a bit. Had fun figuring out lists and running them. And I decided it's time to get these boys back out. The last time they came out, it was against Harlequins, and that was great. But I'd played them against the Necrons a few times before that, and it was not great. But it did teach me a couple things for the list building and hearing some podcasts and tips and things. You've got to bring things that can theoretically kill a squad of warriors in one go. Otherwise, the warriors for the Necrons just keep coming back and coming back. So here's what I've come up with. Running 2 patrols. So we have the double patrol. I will talk you through it real quick. I actually have a total of 3 troop choices. So the troops are over here. We've got 1 bare bones strike squad, rocking the old metal minis for this one, all halberds and stormbolters, and they have astral aim. Behind them, we have 2 squads of terminators. The one on the left is all halberds and a psi cannon, and the one on the right is going to be all, well, not all. They are 3 with falchions, 1 halberd, and the Justicar has the Nemesis warding stave, so slightly better save in combat. That's what the warding stave does. Then we've got our HQs, and what we have is a Grandmaster Dread Knight. He is first to the fray, warlord trait. He has the silencer and the psi cannon. That is my favorite loadout with him. And the sword, even though it's only d6, not only, but it's d6 damage on the sword, it still tends to do enough work hitting on 2s and still rerolling 1s until we get a new book, so that's nice. Then we have the other 4 characters here. So we have the Apothecary in the back. The Apothecary has the hammer and Cuirass of Sacrifice. He's going to have Sanctuary today. And then on the left, I have, this is actually a Librarian. He gets played as a lot of different things from different games, but today's a Librarian, Thunderhammer, and Stormbolter. He's going to know Warp Shaping and Empyrean Domination, and he has the Sanctic Shard to reroll a failed test. Then we have Grandmaster Voldus. He does what he does. He has Armored Resilience. I want to say he has Ethereal Manipulation and Inner Fire. I haven't really put him in the front in a while, so today give him Inner Fire, see if he can't get in and mess some people up. And then on the right, I'm actually bringing Brother Captain Stern. Clearly not Brother Captain Stern's model. It's a cool Brother Captain type model, so I'm using it for that. I did actually just receive an actual Stern model, the old metal one, but I haven't had a chance to paint him up. I've been playing too many games this week, and it's a good thing. So there's that. And he has, I think what I decided to go with for him was Purge Soul, just because it's targetable, even if it's only a 12-inch. And against most characters, probably isn't going to matter a whole lot. But there's a chance, and if it's targetable, I might be able to take out a vehicle or something with it. Who knows? When you get right down to it. But it's kind of fun. We'll see how it plays out. May or may not be any good. Then we go to the Paladin Bomb. So I am running the 10 Paladins. I know there's a lot of chatter, a lot of debates between whether you should run Terminators or Paladins, or leave Paladins at home because they're so expensive. This unit is 535 points, I think, so that's really pricey. However, they have consistently done the business for me. So this particular unit, the way I kit them out is I have 2 with the warding staves for the good or the better invul in combat. The Justicar has the hammer, so he still hits on 3s. Instead of 2s, but it's pretty tasty. And you give him Fury of the Proven, and then he's hitting on 2s again. Then I have 3 with falchions, and the rest have halberds. So when they get in, they can do a lot of work. Plus, in the back row, I have 4 guys with the silencers, because you can have 4 heavy weapons in a squad of 10. And the 4 silencers, it's just, they're essentially a Daka. I don't know, what do you want to call it? Just, they put the work in when they shoot. So there's ways to get them to hit better. Ethereal Manipulation, reroll all wounds in half distance. So it's a lot of fun to just put that spell on them, pop them up across the board 9 inches away from someone with Gate of Infinity, which is what my 2 Terminator squads have. And then they just shoot the ever-living bejeebers out of whatever's around. Usually does a lot of work. And then finally, this is something I've been playing with in the last couple of games, and it's been pretty solid. I don't have all the guys modeled correctly yet. The weapons are correct. This is a 10-man interceptor squad. So with the 10-man interceptor, you get the free teleport shunt once per game. You can do it again every turn for a CP with a stratagem. Can be helpful. I give them Vortex of Doom because one of my favoriteest things is to just shunt them into somebody's castle. Vortex of Doom, pay the CP for the extra dice to roll, so you're rolling 3d6 and hoping for that tasty 11 or even a 12. I'll take a 12 with them. It's just really, really cool if you can get it to go off. And I mean, it's, you know, it goes off on an 8, which you need a 7 with the Grey Knights to do that. So it's not the most unreliable spell, maybe not as good as a Smite, but again, put it near a castle and it just tends to always do something. I've taken out many castles, or at least wounded many castles with those guys, just using their teleport shunt, vortex, and then I'm running 10 of them now. I took out my silencers, so they're just straight storm bolters, and the reason for that is I can use them, give the shooting tide, so your psi weapons have a +1 strength and damage, so they become 2 damage storm bolters and strength 5, and then you pay the 2 CP, so you get the strength 6 and the -1 AP. So strength 6, -1 AP and 2 damage storm bolters, and then, you know, if you're in range to rapid fire, which if you shunted correctly you would be, and I have a unit that has astral aim, so I can in theory make that where they don't even have to be seen. The only thing is if I'm out of line of sight, then they're not going to be doing Vortex of Doom. But I think, I mean, obviously there's ways to make both things work really well. So there you have it. This list, it came out to like 1997, I think, 1998, somewhere in there. It was just enough to not be able to add anything, just enough to not be able to take anything away. All right, folks, here we are, Necrons. Gonna bring my Grey Knights one more time. I've decided one more. I'm a glutton for punishment. I'm gonna try to take on the Necron hordes of undying robots once again. So he's running, is it just a battalion this time? Yeah, 1 battalion, so he's got his 3 characters. He's trying out the Barge, the Illuminor, and then this dude just a Lord, or Overlord, Lord. Okay, he has the Resurrection Orb, though. Command Barge, you said, has the Voltaic Staff guy, and he's got some extra Warlord traits to make him a little bit more resilient, minus, is it reducing 1 on the incoming damage? Okay.
Down to a minimum of 1.
Down to a minimum of 1. So yeah, I mean, it's tasty. The Crypto Thralls, you've got 3 Ophidian, I don't know, the Deep Striking Destroyers, 3 of them. 3 Heavy Destroyers are running as a single unit today. 4 Scarabs, 3 Scarabs. Then we got all the Death Marks in the back, so we got a nice little row of those boys. You got a squad of 20, squad of 20, squad of 20, a squad of 10. Yeah, so I don't know, my Grey Knights, I feel like it's one of these deals where I'm trying to come up with a Grey Knights list that has, on paper, the potential to kill a unit with a unit. It has the potential, but it's so hard. It's not reliable. It's all depending on dice rolls. So I don't know. We may or may not do well. It'll be interesting to see. So that's his army. It's looking good. It's going to be fun to see because he's running this different destroyers, the Ophidian ones. I think they'll probably serve him better than the ones he was running before. I don't know what they were called, but they don't teleport, so it's the other guys. The Scorpec. I think these will probably be more useful for him. So, anywho, the table has been set. I'm going to pause and we'll go over and look at the table and deployments, and we'll be back. There we go. All right, folks, the battle is going to begin shortly. The mission is overrun, so you have this 3 objectives on each side. Technically, these are all on the battle edge, so the secondary for the mission, I don't think either of us took it, is one where if you hold your opponent's 3 table edge objectives, which is a little harder to do against a swarming Necron army, yeah, not something I'm interested in, then you get bonus points for doing that each turn. We didn't take that. That's okay. I've deployed back here. This is a really fun looking terrain. We got a snowy land. We've got some trees. We're actually playing the trees as obscuring instead of as forest, just because there's not really room to walk through them. And that way it gives more line of sight shenanigans to the table itself. So it's really cool. I like it a lot. It's going to be a lot of fun. Tim just made a giant wall of robots, of course. I put a Terminator squad, an Apothecary, and Deep Strike, and everything else is on the table. Yeah, I have no idea what to think here. So we will have our roll off and see who's going to go first. And this will be kind of important because if I don't go first, I could be in a lot of trouble. Oh, good. He started with a 6. I have met you with a 5. Would you like to go first or second?
First, sir.
Oh, I'm surprised. All right, we'll be back after Necron. Turn 1. Okay, folks, turn 1 is done. The Necrons just, ran across the board, got up in my face really fast over here. Tim's entire plan was to kill the Dread Knight because he took cut off the head just for the fun of it to see if it could happen. Because the way I play, the characters and warlords got to be out in the middle doing the business. And maybe if I put him back on the back edge of the board, if I was thinking, they wouldn't have been able to reach with some of his stuff. But I rolled the worst save rolls ever until the last 2. The last 2 would have killed him, and I made 2 4-up invulnerable saves. So he survived, which means Tim will only get, 10 points for killing him in the next turn? Something like that. I don't know. It is what it is. So yeah, he's moved up, pushed up a lot, got into range to do a lot of shooting, and it's my turn to see if I can actually pick things off. I don't know if I will or not, but I'm going to give it a go. So we'll be back at the end of Grey Knight's turn 1. Grey Knight's turn 1 is over. So we moved up here, I am in range to charge. However, if I charge at them with the Grandmaster and get overwatched and he dies, then it gives Tim 13 points for killing him in the first turn, first battle round. So I decided that was dumb. These guys moved up. We got a couple of buffs off. However, I'm missing a Paladin because they exploded their brains trying to cast Hammerhand, and 1 died. It took 3 mortal wounds. Disappointing. They do have Armored Resilience, they do have Sanctuary, and they do have Astral Aim, which I needed because all of my army combined, except for my 1 strike squad and my interceptors, no, even they helped, killed the white squad of warriors. All right, so that was good for me. I've never killed a squad in turn 1 of Necrons, so that was something, but it took a lot of bullets. Then over here, yeah, everybody just shot at that. We did kill 1 Scarab base, and that was about it. In the Psychic phase, these guys back here, who are about to die, we salute you, did manage to pull off the Super Vortex of Doom on this destroyer, and then managed to pick off 5 wounds off the barge, 1 destroyer, and 4 warriors out of this squad. And that was about it. We did some scatterings of smites here and there, and perils on ourselves like 3 times. I rerolled 1 of them and took 2 of them, so yeah, it was a little rough on that regard. So that's it. That's the end of the turn for the Grey Knights. Thin the ranks. Helped. I scored 4 points off of that so far, which was nice. And engage on all fronts for 2. And I forgot to do mental interrogation because I'm a human peanut. But that's it. So we'll be back after Necron, turn 2, and I'll be really excited if my Grey Knights are still on the board. That's how I feel about that, because all this -2 is headed my direction, and it's going to be ugly. Okay, so Necrons, turn 2 is done. As one would expect, Dread Knight's dead. The disappointing news for me was my Terminators died, so that's going to bring me down to only scoring just the 5 for primary, because I'm holding 1. There's only 2 of them left. They did not fail morale, and I'm holding 2. So I get 5 points out of that for primary, which is sad. Tim got 10 in his turn. So he also gets, I didn't even look to see how many you get. You got 10 for that, so he gets 10 for killing my Dread Knight in the first turn. These guys came back to hold that objective, shot into them, they made their save. I was happy with that. The Death Marks took some pot shots into here, brought my Librarian to a single wound. It was pretty not happy with that. So that was good work from them. I left them just too far away from my paladin bomb. I think that's it. I forgot that Purge the Vermin meant if I never put anybody in that quarter, then he got it. So that was sad news for me, but it is what it is. So he got 2 points out of that. So that's the end of his turn. So not bad. Yeah, lost the unit of the Terminators. It did take a lot more shooting than he wanted to give them, I think. So I'm okay with that. That's good. And we'll come back after Grey Knight's turn 2. All right, folks. Grey Knight's turn. This is just turn 2 is done. Paladins came over. Voldus spent a command point to buff his psychic range, and then did inner fire upon the command barge and killed it. Then we buffed up the Paladins, so they have a slew of buffs over here. Everything actually went to the Paladins. So they had Armored Resilience, Ethereal Manipulation, Astral Aim, Sanctuary, Hammerhand. It was good times. These guys over here shot into and killed the Destroyers over there with the help of the Terminators, who deep struck into that back corner. The Paladins shot and killed the 10 Necron Warriors over here. The Interceptors tried their best to kill Death Marks, but they killed like 2 after reanimation, right? I think they got 6 and then reanimated 4. So, I mean, they tried, they did a thing. Got up on that objective, killed the Crypt Thralls, and I guess, yeah, prevented Tim from getting Grindem down that turn, so I'll take what I can get. We're trying to play this one fast to do it like at a tournament speed, so technically our time is expired now at the end of this turn. And I haven't even checked points, but we're going to go ahead and try to speed play through the last 3 turns and see where we end up at the game overall. But that's just so y'all know, we're kind of hustling through, so if we miss a few things here and there in these last 2 turns, that's why. We were trying to practice some tournament speed and such. So, end of Grey Knight's turn 2, yeah. And I don't know, it's an interesting battle has been engaged here. So we will be back after Necron's turn 3. Grey Knight's turn 4 has ended. Turn 3, excuse me. These guys lived to see another day. These guys did a lot of shooting at them and actually did a smite, killed 1.5 bases. Yep, that was how that worked. This dude, Apothecary, came in, charged a mighty charge. Actually, we did some psychic and some shooting from Captain Stern. We killed the base once he charged in, and unlike earlier today, he made all of his attacks and all his wounds against a little bitty T3 Scarab base, so good for him. These guys came up, did all their shooting into heavy destroyers and killed 1 and left 1 on the wound, and that was it. Everything else has died, so he cleared out the table quarter. I think we showed that last turn. And that's where we stand. So, starting off with his turn 4, he's going to get 10 for primary, for holding 3, and I hold 3. So, 10 for primary, because you have to hold 3 to get 10.
15. I get 15.
No.
I control more than you.
I control 3.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I say, we're tied. I managed to shenaniganize just enough. Okay, so that's that. So we'll come back after Necron turn 4. We'll see if he can kill off the rest of my stuff, which is possible. Necron turn 4. What I expected is what has happened. So I switched out of the tide of the super smites, or the 2 damage smites, into out of shadows into the super smite back before my librarian died, so I have not had the benefit of that. And let me just say, as a word to the wise, don't do that. Stay in your tide of shadows. It helps keep things alive when you've got Necrons with -2 AP everywhere on the board. So that was sad. My Paladins would actually have survived that on their because it would have been 3-up saves with that instead of 4s, and I rolled a lot of 3s and not very many 4s and 5s. So it makes me sad, but it's a lesson learned. I got greedy because, they don't come back on mortal wounds, so yeah, but it wasn't good. Anywho, this is what's left. I have 2 more Terminators back here in the corner. They're just chilling. 2 of them got killed by the Death Marks. These little Scarabs are being scaraby and getting out of line of sight. Very clever of them. And then I've got my Captain and my Apothecary. That's it. 4 models left on the table. Grey Knight's turn 4 coming up. I'm going to score points. You just wait. Just wait. All right, folks, that was a fast turn. It's only been a couple seconds for us. I scooted back, got on the objective. He shot at the destroyer and just did nothing. It was great. So proud of him. My apothecary, because Grey Knight's apothecaries are special, has no guns, and he couldn't see them to smite them. If I could have, they would be dead. So sad. He made his charge. He got all 5 hits with a reroll, and then one of the wounds failed. I only needed 2s. It was so sad. If I'd gotten all 5 wounds through, it would have killed that. Would have been great. But as it stands, these guys are still here. They shot, killed a death mark. Did he reanimate? No? Okay, so it actually did kill a death mark. So that's that. So I did get engaged on all fronts for 2 more, and that's about it. So, yeah, we'll see what he can do. If he can table me, that'll be... I mean, he can. It's just a matter of, can I do a lot of lucky save rolls or not? So we'll be back after Necrons. This is going to be turn 5, right? Yeah. So, Necron turn 5 is over. Guess what? Stern died. It did take the Warriors, Luminor, and the Destroyer to kill him, so I'm proud of him for that. The Death Marks decided to finish off these guys. It was very nice of them. I'm so glad they get mortal wounds on 6s, because, you know, yeah. This dude bravely ran away. The Scarab did. So my apothecary said, "I'll come fight you again, sir." So in my turn 5, are you ready for this? I will score no primaries. I will not get engaged on fronts, but I am going to kill him. The many scribbly, gribbly bugs, and that'll be my final victory in this game with my one last guy. Hey, I have to say, I'm really excited that I made it to turn 5 with a model left on the board. That's the best my Grey Knights have ever done against the Necrons. So I'm taking that as a win right there by itself. So we'll be back after this is done. Cool. Guess what? He did it. He walked up his 5 inches, got in that guy's face, and then mind exploded him. So the Smitey Smite Tide blew him up. It's been 30 seconds since I filmed the last bit. So that gives me one more point for thin their ranks, as I was at 9 in the last turn. Plus 1 more is 10. So I get 1 more for that. So I get another point. No engage on all fronts. Nothing else. It's just the total for the what you kill, not per turn. So I'm proud of me. I didn't stop his grinding down. You know, it is what it is. But I have a guy left at the end of the battle, so I'm excited about that. So we'll figure out final score. I'm pretty sure Tim wins anyways. But it's cute. I did a thing. So proud of him. Yeah. There we go. End of the battle. It's another Necron victory, but I pushed him a little harder in this game. So I'll take that for what it's worth. Don't leave Tide of Shadows. That's what I've taught myself in this game. It did really work well against the Necrons. So there you have it, folks. That's what I've learned. Hope you enjoyed this. It's been a fun little battle. Thank you for watching, and come back and check us out later. All right, guys, so I had forgotten to ask about MVPs for the game. I have to easily declare my Apothecary as the MVP because he survived to the end of the game, and he killed the Scarab, and I'm proud of him. But in reality, I think, I don't know. Yeah, it actually probably has to be him. I was trying to think what the other guys did. Paladins, I mean, they did business. They killed stuff. Actually...
We killed 20 men.
Yeah, we killed, what, 2 of your 20 blobs, and then we killed... So we actually killed 3 full blobs of warriors in this time around. And this is what I was saying... I don't even remember if I covered it in this battle report. But before the other battle report against Ultramarines, with the list I made for Grey Knights, I put 2 10-man teams in, hoping that the 40 shots would be enough to kill a Necron blob. I was a little bit sad to see that it took like everything to kill 1 in the first turn. I was hoping that it could be like 1 10-man and then a few extra shots possibly, but it is what it is. I mean, it's, you know, I'm hitting on 3s and it's strength 4, toughness 4. So it's a lot of CP investment to put him to strength 5 for my shots. And I've learned, and you've seen, staying in the Tide of Shadows is much better. So it, you know, it is what it is. But they did kill warriors. So that's kind of interesting. That's my takes on that. Tim's got some thoughts on here. Well, who's your MVP to start with?
I'm gonna have to say the death marks this time.
That's
they were
true.
able to get a couple of characters from across the table. They're in
That's true.
turn 3, I think it was.
Yeah.
Plus the Terminators.
Agreed.
I did play much differently this time, as I was super aggressive in this one.
Yep, that too.
So I was curious to see how that would work out in a heavily melee-oriented army.
Very much so. Yeah, no, you're right, and that was interesting. I think, I don't know. I mean, the command barge is made to run in and charge stuff. It feels like when I watch them used, it didn't do a lot in this, but it seems like that's how people play them a lot. But this squad here, I mean, that all came up, and we did wipe them in combat with the paladins. But I mean, that's, I don't know, because you were able to keep me off of this objective for all but one turn, I think.
Correct.
So that was to your favor, and you controlled. I took that one back there once with the interceptors, but then you just came back, mobbed it, and took it back, and you held that one in that end over there the whole time. We sort of thought about these two on this side of the board, but really with so few bodies, it's kind of.
We didn't really fight about this one.
No,
This
that's
one
true.
I
The
abandoned.
one in the very back, he did let that one go. I deep struck onto it and held it, and that gave me some points for 2 turns. Until he turned around and said, "Okay, they need to die." Yeah, that's interesting. It was a different play style. I liked it. I'm just telling you, folks, if you haven't faced Necrons, -2 AP for everything they shoot at you, hitting you on 2s with my will be done. It melts through Terminators. It's really amazing, and I think it should. I think it's the way it should be. I would love to see my new Codex one day for the Grey Knights. If I could get little baby Marines up to 2 wounds and Terminators at 3, this would have been a different story. But who knows? That's all ifs, hads, and would have beens. Yeah, any other thoughts on that? It was a fun game. It was really good. It was kind of close in the score, and not counting the paint score, it was still like on a 10-point game, I think, at the end. I haven't looked at the final score, but I think it ended up being like a 10-point win for the Necrons, which surprises me because usually the Necrons are just rolling through. The way this mission scored with the 6 objectives, I think changed that a bit because they're spread out pretty far, and if you have to come in with all your stuff to take out a unit, like the paladins, and all of my forces were on this side of the board, so he kind of had to come this direction to do work. I think that played to my favor because otherwise he can spread out his whole army on the back 3, sit there and hold those, always score a minimum 10, if not 15. And I can spread out with what little I can with Deep Strike, Gate of Infinity, but all he has to do is get close enough to shoot stuff and I die. So it's kind of this mission was interesting. At first I thought it was an auto win for Tim, but the way he played, this play style he had in the slightly shorter range, because these are the shorter range guns, right, to give you the
12-inch,
the 12-inch guns. So that helped me, played to my favor. But yeah, it's pretty cool. It was a lot of fun. Thanks for letting me come out and play. It's funny, it's actually chilly out here down in Texas, and we're playing on a snow world and a snow map, and I was like, yeah, a couple of times I saw my breath. I think that's because I just drank hot chocolate and breathed out, and then there was my breath to see. Hey, whatever. It's cool. It's apropos. Very ambiance oriented. So, hope y'all enjoyed that. This time is the conclusion. So, we'll catch you later. Happy wargaming.